if you have been listening to us for some time now, Blake and I, you know that we love talking about our movie theater experiences. I created a little series on YouTube called Cinematic Civility Gone Awry, where we talk about our experiences at movie theaters and kind of the things that we notice from other patrons or things that kind of bug us and annoy us and all that. I didn't have a chance to talk to you about this because you were traveling like when all this was happening, but Taylor Swift's Eras Tour movie was released in theaters. And this week, as we're recording this on December 1st, Beyonce's concert film is releasing this weekend too. So I wanted to talk to you about something that happened during the whole Eras Tour release. This mainly happened, I think, the first week of its release, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. So I'm gonna share my screen right now, and I want you to watch this video that someone took.
We start a Shake It Off dance party at the Eras Tour movie.
So imagine you bought a ticket,
Okay.
and this happened in the theater as you're watching the movie. And I want you to look at some of the people in the theater while this is all happening.
Incredible.
Yeah. So you get the idea, but I want to again go back to all those poor people who are just in the audience as all this was happening.
Hey, I can't see right now, so do you mind? I'm really trying to soak in the plot of the Eras Tour. I can't even see what era we're in.
Right. And then here's a Twitter post from someone who went, and basically it says, guys, oh my God, I went to watch the Eras Tour movie and I didn't hear Taylor for 1 second. It was so bad. People were so disrespectful. Like there were some that actually were kicked out of the room because they were being so rude. They completely ruined a lot of people's experience there. All right. So you know my story of when I went to see A Star Is Born, right? So for those of you who are not familiar with the story, I'll try to recap it real quick. I went to watch opening night, A Star Is Born with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga.
Woo! Yes! Yay! Lady Gaga! Yeah!
Half the theater
taking a picture,
were, what is it, Little Monsters, right? That's the Gaga followers, right? They're the Little Monsters or whatever. They were in full force at that screen, where every time she was on screen, I saw flashes of people taking photos. The two girls who sat on my left, every time she sang, they decided to sing along with her as if it was a concert.
I bet they were good singers too. They're always the people who sing in theaters are always the best singers.
Yeah,
that's just
you know what?
Known fact.
I will give them this. They are great karaoke singers. That's how that's how I would describe it. What is your stance on this? I think you'll be surprised with my take on this. But if this was something that happened to you, how would you feel? And what is your take on this? Because you know this is going to happen this weekend when people are going to watch Beyonce, right?
Oh, I heard it. I walked because it dropped, and I see Godzilla -1, and I'm just hearing screaming in a theater. I'm like, oh, is this the scariest movie of the year? No.
Right.
I would say seeing the Taylor Swift movie is the first era that people made. Thank you.
Hey-o.
No, sincerely, this is one of those things. What we see now is, and they're doing it actually with Monty Python. There's it says like Monty Python anniversary screening. And then separately, there's another ticket you can buy for a different movie, which is the Monty Python anniversary screening quote along.
Right.
I think it helps a lot if when the theater says, this is the kid, bring your kid to it. Pixar are showing. This is we're not saying don't, but don't, because you got the one where you bring your kid to it one. So the Rocky Horror, they're good about that. But in general, the problem is if you wanted to see an actual go to Rocky Horror Picture Show and see it. This is actually my fault. The first time I went to see Rocky Horror in New York City, I didn't realize that I would not be able to see Rocky Horror at the Rocky Horror
you went to one
screening.
of those like full-on audience participation.
And they all knew what they were going to do. And I show up, and they're like, okay, would you like to fill in your name here? I'm like, no, I'm here for a movie. What are you talking about? Okay, name tag. Where's your costume? Are you entering the costume contest? I'm like, look at me. I'm going to the movies. What are you talking about?
Right.
And everything after that was much more confusing. I had never seen it. I decided I would wait for a movie theater experience because I knew it was happening in New York City. And then I was like, oh, I have no idea what this movie's about. We do this sing-along version. There was something, it wasn't Moulin Rouge. There's that. They'll do that with a Disney re-release or
Yeah,
whatever.
I was gonna say I noticed that they've done that a lot recently with Disney releases, where they'll have like the sing-along screening or something like that. So you kind of know what you're getting into.
That one for sure, but the problem is if you go to the other screening and someone's treating it like a sing-along,
right?
I feel like the subtext is if you want to sing along, go to that one, and if otherwise, shut the fuck up.
Right.
It's kind of the subtext. That said, when it comes to a concert movie, that's a different vibe. And the other experience I'll mention is I went to go see David Byrne, American Utopia on Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about Stop Making Sense recently here when they re-released a movie and folks are dancing in the theater. That's another concert movie. In the Broadway theater, there's a lot of people who are sitting down and some people who either can't stand up, they're not able to, or wouldn't be good for them to do so. And then there's someone in front of them dancing. And that's a weird move. At the end, sometimes they'll do it to where they section it off, just like we're talking about with the karaoke screening or the dance along screening, whatever. Is they'll be like, okay, now everyone can stand up and dance at the end of it. It's always weird, especially at a concert when it's a seated venue, Carnegie Hall, Radio City, but it's a dancey band. And there's just people going to be blocking up part of the aisle. It's weird. So that said, for the Taylor movie, that's part of the reason I didn't go is because I'm not going to be in a participation mood. I was curious. I was like, oh yeah, how good is this? How much of a cultural zeitgeist moment is this? But I also knew that it's not for me. I don't know the words. And if someone's dancing, I'm just going to be sitting there the whole time like, this isn't included in A list. And I paid $30 for this. And I'm watching a ponytail in front of me doing a windmill the whole time. Like, what's happening?
Right.
Overall, I think it's kind of, you know what you're getting into with a concert movie. With the Star is Born, that's not on you at all. Yeah. There's no reason to expect the new Bradley. I would love it if Maestro, people are just doing the full piano.
Like they start standing up and they start conducting. The air conducting. Oh, man.
Sometimes you know what you're getting into and it's kind of on you for buying the ticket. Yeah. And sometimes it's actually fun and enjoyable. Sure. I'm actually not opposed to public displays of joy. Mm-hmm. Problem is when you're sitting there going like, I wish this was not happening right now. There are some movies where it really doesn't make sense for someone to do that. And the other thing on that tweet, I'm curious what they meant by disrespectful. If disrespectful meant dancing and singing along, I'm not sure that's that disrespectful when it's the concert movie and that's what people do at concerts. Right. If the person was like someone's popcorn dumping it on their head, then that's another level of chaos that nobody signed up for.
My whole take on the thing, and I can be very harsh and very critical on patron behavior and all that stuff at movies. I think when it comes to concert films, especially opening week, you kind of should expect something like this could happen, especially if it's a Taylor Swift thing. Because we already knew that going into this, her concert tour was the biggest event of the year. Like every night sold out everywhere she went. You know, like no one could stop talking about it. You saw it on social media. It felt like everyone I knew at one point or another was either there or close enough to be there, right? Or knew someone else who was there, whatever the case is. So going into this movie release, the concert film release, you would kind of expect you would get the same type of audience attending these things and going nuts or whatever the case is. So I think it is definitely one of those things where you kind of should expect this to happen. That being said, I do feel that it would have benefited more if movie theaters were more aware that this could happen. And then do what you said, or do what they did with the treatments for other stuff, where this is like the free-for-all screening where you could do whatever the hell you want. And then this is the quote-unquote normal screening where you better not act up or things like that. But you're going to have people that are going to end up doing that anyway, right? I think for that person
whenever it's a group permission thing, like 20 people are doing it, now you got 40 people doing it versus if it's only one or two outliers at the one where it's like, this isn't that screening, it'll be harder for them to keep that momentum going. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I think the person who posted that tweet, I think they were just in the mindset of, well, I came to watch this movie in peace, and I don't want anyone around me to be acting up or whatever. You ruined my movie theater going experience like that. But this is more on, well, that's
sitting
kind of
in
on
the draft house, filling out piece of paper after piece of
Right.
paper the entire time. Got a filing cabinet.
Oh my
Like, these
God,
are all
could
the
you
people I'm
imagine?
complaining about.
Could you imagine the amount of notes that were posted at the
A
Alamo?
giant stack of letters. He's like, here you go. Kick these people out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I feel like Alamo would have done something where they would have been like, this is the free for all experience. You can like run up and down the aisles if you want. Just don't bother the waiters and waitresses, just, be mindful of those guys. But if you're like at a regular AMC or Regal or Cinemark or something, and you're not expecting a huge group of, and it looks like a bunch of teens just having the time of their lives and all that. I think the worst part too is that they had their own like light up bracelets and all that. It's like they went into this thing knowing they were going to bust out into like a romp kind of like moment, right? So I think it's it says a lot when they just pan to the rest of the audience and you just see the poor saps there just sitting there like, oh my God, get me out of this nightmarish hellhole I'm in right now. But
well, the worst part is they had to listen to Taylor Swift's music for a couple hours. That's the worst part.
Hey-o. Boom.
I will say this. There's times too when I'll go to a movie and actually choose either the theater or the potential audience. We've talked about this before. Do you go to the movie on opening night? If it's a comedy, it's much better. And then there's a comedy special can hit theaters, and that's one I'll make sure to go to. Yeah. And there's times where like the audience is loud, but it's part of the overall experience. I'm actually into it. Like a scary movie, it's more fun. Unless you're going for, the art house cinema thing, and then you've got people kind of ruining it for you and you want to hear every line of dialogue. Right. In which case you might go see it again on this, the second viewing. So it all kind of depends on what you're trying to get out of it. I think one of the bigger problems is, one, if the theater doesn't say what it is. And then two, if you're not a movie going person, I know we've talked about this. We talk about our audience reaction to any given movie. And I can tell you on a 4 p.m. in this neighborhood at this theater with this type of movie, what kind of audience I can expect. And every now and then I'm a little surprised. Yeah. But if you're just going like, oh yeah, we'll go to the movies, I haven't been in a couple of years, let's buy whatever ticket for whatever night, you might end up being surprised. And that's why the more information from the theater would be helpful. If someone thought it was going to be a documentary about Taylor Swift and they're a super Swift fan, they've read all her books, or I don't know, did she write books? I don't know. But then they're like, wait, they're singing at this thing? I just wanted to learn more about my favorite artist.
In response to what was happening here, AMC Theaters put it out a reply tweet basically stating that we encourage people to enjoy themselves, sing, dance, and all that. We only ask that they just don't hop on top of the seats, like start breaking property and start like ruining things like that, right? Like you can do whatever the hell you want, just don't be like jumping around seats and going that nuts and all. So I think at that point that's the best you can do as a theater owner or whatever the case is. I just wanted to see what you thought about that whole experience, and what you would have done if you were in a theater where something nuts like that busted out, because I can relate. I can totally relate in a way. So
yeah, no, I mean, I would have been annoyed at that one, which is why I didn't go. But even if that happens, you just gotta shake it off. Shake it off.
Shake it off. There you go. Remember the good old days? The days of big hair, neon colors, scrunchies, Jinko jeans, and iconic movies and TV shows? At 80sdeals.com, they know how much you miss the 80s, the 90s, and all of the other E's. That's why they created a collection of the coolest, most iconic t-shirts from those eras. Their t-shirts aren't just nostalgic, they're also high quality, comfortable, and stylish. Whether you're a fan of classic 80s movies like The Breakfast Club or Ghostbusters, or just want to show your love for your favorite 90s TV shows like Friends or Baywatch, they've got you covered. You know what? I do like it when they call me Big Papa, so I'm gonna have to really pick this up right now. SWAT Cats? Wow, who remembers SWAT Cats? And it's not just movies and TV shows, but you can rep the memories of your favorite brands, books, and video games. It's also not just shirts. You can also get all of your favorite memories on hoodies, jerseys, and more. At 80c's.com, they understand the power of nostalgia. That's why they created a shopping experience that takes you back to the decades you love. Browse their collection of unique, eye-catching apparel that will make you feel like you're reliving those iconic moments. They've got everything for any season and any type of occasion, so all your gift-giving needs are fully covered here. And if you check the link in the description of this video below, you will find a nice little discount code there for you to use to get some percentage off your order. And they also offer free shipping for orders over $100. That's right, free shipping over $100. So what are you waiting for? Click on the link found in the description to visit adcs.com today and find your perfect nostalgic fit.
For full audio episodes of the MovieTime Podcast, make sure to follow and subscribe to the LOWKEY Geek channel on your favorite podcast platform. New episodes are uploaded every week.